St. Thomas More was an English lawyer. He was also a Chancellor to Henry VIII and Lord High Chancellor of England from October 1529 to May 1532. Thomas More was the son of Sir John More, a successful lawyer and later a judge, from 1490 to 1492. More served John Morton, the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Lord Chancellor of England. More began his studies at Oxford in 1492 and received a classical education. He became proficient in both Latin and Greek. According to his friend, Thomas More once seriously contemplated abandoning his legal career to become a monk. Although he deeply admired the piety of monks of Carthusian monastery, More ultimately decided to remain a layman, standing for election to Parliament in 1504 and marrying the following year. More continued ascetic practices for the rest of his life, such as wearing a hair shirt next to his skin. More married Jane Colt in 1505. The couple had 4 children before Jane died in 1511. Later, More had married Alice, a widow, to care for his small children. In 1504, Thomas More was elected to Parliament to represent Great Yarmouth, and in 1510 began representing London. As secretary and personal advisor to King Henry VIII, More became increasingly influential. In 1523, More was elected as MP, and on Wolsey's recommendation, the House of Commons elected Thomas More its Speaker. In 1525, More became Chancellor with executive judicial responsibilities over much of northern England. Thomas More supported the Catholic Church and saw the Protestant Reformation as heresy, a threat to the unity of the both church and society. Thomas More believed in the theology, argumentation, and ecclesiastical laws of the church, and heard Luther's call to destroy the Catholic Church as a call to war. As the conflict over supremacy between the papacy and the king reached its summit, More continued to remain steadfast in supporting the supremacy of the Pope as a successor of Peter over that of King of England. In 1530, More refused to sign the annulment of Henry's marriage to Catherine of Aragon before her death, and also quarrelled with Henry VIII over the heresy laws. In 1531, a royal decree required the clergy to take an oath acknowledging the king as a supreme head of the Church of England. The bishops of Canterbury agreed to sign the oath, but only under threat. Cardinal John Fisher and some other clergy refused to sign. More continued to refuse to sign the oath of supremacy and did not agree to support the annulment of Henry's marriage to Catherine. More resigned from his role as a chancellor under intense royal threat on the day before. In 1533, More refused to attend the coronation of Anne as the Queen of England. Technically, this was not an act of treason, as More had written to Henry seemingly acknowledging Anne's queenship and expressing his desire for the king's happiness and the queen's health. Despite this, Henry took action against him. Shortly thereafter, More was charged with accepting bribes, but it was not proved with evidence. On 13th April 1534, More was asked to appear before a commission and swear his loyalty to the Parliament Act of Succession. More accepted Parliament's right to declare Anne the legitimate Queen of England, though he refused the spiritual validity of King's second marriage, holding fast to the teaching of papal supremacy. More furthermore publicly refused to support Henry's annulment from Catherine. 4 days later, Henry had Thomas More imprisoned in the Tower of London. While More was imprisoned in the Tower, Thomas Cromwell made several visits, urging More to take the oath, which he continued to refuse. Then the jury took only 15 minutes, however, to find Thomas More guilty. After the jury's verdict was delivered and before his sentencing, More spoke freely of his belief that no temporal man may be the head of the spirituality, take over the role of the Pope. He was sentenced to be hanged, drawn and quartered, but the king commanded them to behead him. The execution took place on 6th July 1535. When he came to Mount, More is widely quoted as saying to one of the officials, "I pray you, master, see me safe up, and for my coming down, let me shift for myself." After More had finished reciting the Miserere, that is the Psalm of Mercy, while kneeling, the executioner reportedly begged his pardon, and Thomas More rose up merely, kissed him and gave him forgiveness. Pope Pius XI canonized More in 1935 as a martyr. Pope John Paul II in 2000 declared him the patron saint of statesmen and politicians. Saint Thomas More, pray for us. Live with Jesus.